Hi Wanderlusters, welcome back to our channel. So I thought it's time I did this sitting down as you see me, but give me feedback. What do you prefer, me talking like this or putting sceneries or places we've been to? So I'd say I'll go on with our journey from Tanzania to Zambia. So we got the tickets for the Tazara train. Tazara is a Tanzania Zambia railway. I think it's the oldest train, must be among the oldest trains in Africa. So I get the tickets. Finally, I got money. I didn't have money for the tickets. I waited to get that money. So finally, I get the money. I book the tickets. We get first class tickets. You get the option to do either. I think it was first class was a 4 cabin. You call it a cabin or a coach. It's for 4 people, and second class had 6. So because my youngest was 4 at the time, it made sense to do the 4 remain in first class, and she could share a bed with either me or my younger daughter. So I did the first class ticket, and the day comes and we're leaving. So we've been living at this lodge for 2 weeks, maybe. And now I'm sure we're leaving Tanzania. Like, we were ready to leave TZ. Like, for the 2 weeks, we were just ready to leave. But fate had other plans. So now we're ready to leave. We leave. I shop for food because I'd been told the best thing is to shop for food to eat. As much as they have a restaurant, it's good to have a menu. When you have kids, it's always good to carry food. So I order for my, how many chapatis? Were they 20? Chapatis are what? If you're not Kenyan or Tanzanian, chapatis are flatbread made on the pan. It's a delicacy. We all love them, and Tanzanian chapatis are just delicious. So I order for my chapatis. Is someone who we used to buy from, and then I buy all this food, drinks, water. I pack up. I know we're ready. We're supposed to be on the train, I think, for 24 hours. Was it 48? Now I don't remember. So we get to the train station. Shock on us. They tell us the train is not leaving on the day, it's leaving the next day. This is us who've checked out. By the time we were leaving this lodge, we had been staying for free. They had given us free accommodation. So there is no way I was going to leave the train station and go back to the lodge and tell them now it's for the next day. And then also the Tanzanian cash I had planned it in a way that I was going to finish it all, pay for the cab to the station, and then that's it. I didn't have any more Tanzanian. I think I only had, like, at most, very little money. So now they tell us we're not leaving. Oh, and I asked them, nobody bothered to communicate. I mean, you ask for our numbers, you ask for emails, nobody bothered to communicate. They're like, that's how things are done over here. So it's not only me. Everyone was traveling that time. They came, they bounced. I saw people going back to maybe their hotels or wherever. So we didn't have the option, and I asked the guy at the counter, so now what? He's like, oh, you're in first class lounge. I mean, we're in first class. There's a first class lounge. You guys can go wait over there. In fact, some people normally, you can sleep over. There's space, there's bathrooms and toilets, so you can sleep. I mean, you can wait over there. So we're happy with the first class lounge. Have you been to a first class lounge? The Tazara first class lounge. Oh my goodness. It's nothing. First class is far from what it was. It is so old. We took a video, and I think we deleted it. Okay, I will look for it. My son tells me it could be somewhere. I'm supposed to share it. Oh my goodness. I don't know why it's even this funny now. But that was not a first class lounge. It was it was old. The place was old. The ceilings had these watermarks. They had seen better days. They had brown marks. The seats were really old, like, the kind of seat, and it's that the metallic seats. They are not comfortable at all. There's a counter. There's no one at the counter, but there's a counter over there. where you could go. They had somewhere you could charge your phones. Then now we went to the bathrooms that were flooded at the time. But when you find yourself in a situation like that and that's all you have, you decided to just have fun with it. And I think at some point someone came and dried the water in the bathroom, so which made it much better. There were bathrooms, there were toilets, and of course there were ladies and gents. I had all this food, so I thought I'd carried food for the entire trip. Kids start eating. That day, that I think we arrived at midday. By 5 o'clock, or let's say by dinner that day, half the food was gone, or is it three quarter? Very little was left. Why is this so funny now? I don't know. But my best laid plans, amount of cheese and cash. I have food, I think I'm set, but the food is finishing. But I was happy we had food because what was I going to buy with the little? The money I had was equivalent to a loaf of bread because I remember asking myself, so why am I even carrying this money anyway? So I bought the one loaf of bread. By the time the train came the next day and it wasn't morning, I think it was afternoon, all the food was gone. All of it. So it rained a good one. So we board the train. We were boarding the train when it was still raining. We board and we go. Let me tell you, just like the first class lounge, the first class cabin was nothing like a first class. The only good thing about it is because it was ours. It was they're like bunk beds. If you've not been to a train that a sleeper train, they're like bunk beds. So it's the lower beds and the upper beds, and then there's a little corridor. Good thing there's a window, but this window could not open, so we kept calling a staff member to come and open the window for us because it was fascinating to see. The sceneries are really good. In fact, I think the thing that I would say I love most about that train is the sceneries we saw. Oh my goodness, the from Dar es Salaam to Mbeya. It's a long journey, but here is a kicker. This train literally broke down every 50 kilometers. I kid you not. I'm not sure we traveled. So the train drama. It took us 2 days to get to Mbeya, and I think that should have taken us probably at most 12 hours because it's a slow train. They're very old trains, not a fast speed one. So yeah, but look at us. We didn't have particular destination you were headed to, or an emergency, or a set date that we needed to get to Maputo because that's where we were going, our destination at the time. So it didn't bother me that the train broke down. In fact, I was happy. But um, our stay, the stamp was going to be a day late because we traveled a day later. So we were going to exceed our stay by a day. That was the only thing. But I had asked at the passport office, sorry, at the train station, and they told me they should be able to understand because the immigration should understand because it's the train that had broken down. Anyway, so in the train, they have, of course, a restaurant. Their food was so nice. We had chicken. Tanzania has really interesting chicken. Although I had had enough chicken to last me 2 lifetimes. Me and my vegan ways, the first 2 weeks I didn't eat because our food options were so limited. You either had to have chicken and chips or have pilau. Pilau is spiced rice with, normally they put beef or chicken and potatoes. It's really yummy, but when you take one type of food too many times, the novelty wears off and it's no longer sweet. So I discovered fried plantains. That was street food. I think I ate that a lot. In fact, I ate too much of it. So I would do the fried plantain with a salad. Kids love chicken and chips. They would have their chicken and chips. Occasionally do the pilau, but also we would have the flatbread, the chapati. We would have that maybe as a snack. We also realized fruits were not in abundance in Tanzania. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the area we lived at. I don't know, but our food options were really limited. We had, in first 2 weeks, we had a place like a fruit parlor where we would go to and get bowls of fruit at a premium. I don't know why. Anyway, The first 2 weeks was kind of good. Next 2 weeks, we could only get watermelon, which was, they didn't sell for most of the days. We could only get fruit in the evening. And this evening, it was also like limited hours. So I was, my, literally, I could feel my body changing from the outside because I was just craving for, and then when they serve you greens, it's like a spoonful, literally a tablespoon of greens. So I'd ask, could you just have me greens instead of maybe this starch? And they're like, we normally don't do it like that. Their brains are very formatted when it came to that. So yeah, eventually I joined the chips and chicken eating bandwagon, and we had so much of that. By the time we were leaving, I think my face was breaking out, and I could just tell even the children had changed. They were also just asking for fruit because that's what we ate most of. Anyway, that aside, the food was good in the train. We had dinner, then we had breakfast. Hmm. And then we arrived. I think like on the third day now is when we arrived. The last station before crossing over to Zambia is called Mbeya. We arrived at Mbeya, and they were like, because the train is not, because it's faulty, that's as far as they could go. So they were going to refund us money for the rest of the trip, then we can find our way. First, remember the reason, besides the adventure part, the reason I was taking the train is because it was the cheapest mode of travel, number one. Number two, the time taken. I did not care whether the train took 2 months to get to Zambia because we were not in a hurry. We just wanted to get away, so that was okay. So now, anyway, my plan um, got me as far as Mbeya. We were still in Tanzania. From Mbeya to Tunduma border is 2 hours by public means. So the first class people, there was us, there was, I think, a South Korean guy. I remember his GoPro because it's the first time my kids saw a GoPro live, and they were so fascinated. He was a nice guy because he engaged them, showed them how to use it. Then there was Alejandra, I can forget her, a beautiful, beautiful Colombian lady. She must have been at most 29, maybe. She was a young girl, and she told me she's doing charity work as she travels to Africa. Loved her. We sat together, so we talked a lot. And she was like, I wish my parents could do this with me, you know? And then I can't forget her because she told me, because I was telling her, I just told her a story, and I was like, I don't even know, like, I can't tell you what my plan for the next month is. I just know this is our destination. I really don't have a like this huge plan for the next year or month or something. And she was like, you may not appreciate it, but these kids will never forget these adventures, and you also won't have this time probably ever again. And I thought that is so true. Anyway, it was nice. And there was, I think there was a German, there was a, it was the first class was a nice mixture of nationalities. Anyway, we boarded. Oh, and there was some drama. So before the money was refunded, I did not have internet bundles on my line, and I needed the bundles to be able to make payment. Hmm. The drama. So these guys, there is like there are cops in a train, and they took me to some back office still inside the train because now I have done this big crime of not paying for our meals. And I'm telling the guys, if we are getting to this point and we're not getting to the border, and you guys are refunding us money, the problem here is because I cannot make a transaction because I do not have bundles. Could you just use that money for the food? And for some reason, we went back and forth, and then eventually someone came from wherever they came from, and they're like, yeah, you could just pay using that money. So anyway, we went, got our refunds, got into the public transport to Tunduma. They had very nice roasted maize at Mbeya. We took, um, it was a good change from the chips chicken. Then got to Tunduma border. Then drama. Drama because number one, we had extended with a day. Number two, I'm traveling with 4 children, and they needed parental consent of the father. So how do you have parental consent and you're running away from said father? Yes. So the first guy who handled us, he was he was not kind from the get-go. The energy was just wrong. So he hounded me and hounded me and hounded me and told me he's going to send me back to the previous Tanzanian border to Kenya, which was probably 1,500 kilometers away. It really scared the shit out of me. Then took us to some other immigration officials on the other side, and it became this whole drama. I actually recorded a video, which I will put here so that you can watch it. When I was recording that video, the part that I did, they had said they are going to put me in their cells. So I was actually recording it so that I send it to someone in case that's the case, so that I send it to a friend so that there can be a way forward. What they were saying is we needed to pay $600 fine per head because we have exceeded with a day. And it's in the handling. They were very unkind. They were very, very unkind. I felt bullied. I actually cried. We all cried. We all cried. When you see that video, you'll see my eyes are bloodshot. And they started telling the kids that we'll send you back to Kenya. Can you imagine what we had been through? And now they're telling the children, we can send you back to Kenya. And even me too, I was not in a mental position to just handle all this. So I had gotten the station manager's number from Dar es Salaam, called him, explained what happened, and was like, it's okay, I'll call them and explain. I don't know who he spoke to, because when he came back to me, he was like, but you should have not booked your train towards the end. I was like, what do you mean? I had time. If the train had not broken down, we would have been out of Tanzania within the days that we were supposed to leave. So how is it my fault? And he was like, no, I cannot help you. And I think even as we were talking with him, and this is Tanzania, you have to speak not only Swahili, it is proper Swahili. But anyway, I'd been there for a month, should have had me speaking, you would have thought I was born in Tanzania. I tried to explain to him, and he was like, I don't think I can help you. So I told these guys, it's okay, then you guys do what you've got to do. I do not have $3,000 to pay the fine. If you have to put us in the cells, then just do it. And they told me, go sit somewhere in a lobby. So I went, waited. The whole saga took 4 hours. Eventually, the train station manager called me and told me, I have managed to talk to them and convince them that it's not your fault, so they will give you back your passports. So a certain lady comes and asks me questions. She's like, okay, so we're going to stamp. You can go over to the Zambian side, but not before. She asked for money. She asked for a bribe. I told her I don't have money. And she said, you must have some money. I was like, it's fine. Then let me give you what I can. But I don't have the kind of money you want. So the money, now I don't remember, but I remember the money I gave her. She was like, that's like lunch. I don't want it. So she gave me back my money. And then I had some really nice earrings. That's what she was like. I love the earrings. She said it in Swahili. I love your earrings. So can I have those? And I just removed the earrings and gave them to her. So I guess that's a price for the overstay, the earrings. We went to the Zambian side. On the Zambian side, we met a nice gentleman. He also asked, like, so is your father working? I was like, yes. We are on a school trip. That's what I said. You have to do what you've got to do to get through these borders. We were running. There is no way I was going to rock this boat. So if it takes me saying that their father was working, that's why he is not there, then that's what I said. So I said we're going to Victoria Falls, and they gave us 10 days in Zambia. So we crossed over. Now, there are these money-changing people at every border. Some are crooked. I think most are. But the one who came to ask me to change money for me was a really nice guy. So I told him, you actually need somewhere to sleep. By now, it is probably 8 p.m. So I told him, I need somewhere to sleep and I need food. And I need you to show me tomorrow where we will get transport, maybe the next train to the station in Zambia is called Kapirimposhi. So I need to know. So that is how we got to Zambia. Like I said, I'm doing these videos not just to document our journey, but to enable those going through situations like I was in. If you're going through a divorce, separation, if you're in a toxic relationship, you've got to leave it. There are no two ways about it, because no one was meant to come to this world to suffer, to live their life as someone else's slave, so to speak. You need to be joyful, you need to be happy. If you have children, you have no choice. Moms, when you're happy, your kids are happy. So if you've watched up to this far, I'm waiting for your feedback. Do you prefer this sit down session, or do you prefer to have an audio that has sceneries running? Let me know. Please comment, subscribe, engage us. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.